there is a lacking of some past lack of mindfulness, lack of concentration, and sometimes anger can arise. And sometimes we get upset also when we want certain things to be done in certain way and then the thing is not done in time. And we get upset for nothing. I looked and I think this is something that I need to improve if I like to help others more. I think if we would like to help others more, how we can maintain the equanimity, the balanced mind. And sometimes when we do good, people praise us, and then after that, when people praise us, we get the publicity. At the same time, naturally there will be others who will blame us, and some people jealousy, envy. And so this is something that we have to confront if we want to work with people. And from time to time we have to again review our activities and see how far we have progressed. The extent of our progress is actually measured not on the number of hours, how long you can sit and how many retreats you go, but often how after your retreat or after your daily meditation, how you confront the problems that you encounter in your day-to-day life, how you're able to confront it, how you accept it, and how you manage with it. This is something that you can see. Because the Buddha said, Dhammo suchinno sukhamavahati. Dhamma that is well practiced brings happiness. So you know, we can know for ourselves whether we have practiced the Dhamma in the right way or not. If sometimes we want to do good, but while doing good we still have some intention, some motive, some ulterior motive for ourselves. And this is actually naturally, this is something that we have to purify our minds. It is not possible to immediately to purify our mind. To do good is easier than to be good. Good actions are easier to perform than being good in the sense of having pure mind. Now you see, normally when we want to put up buildings, we have to encourage people to donate. We have to teach them and encourage them to donate. And not anybody will just come to donate money for some good cause. Usually they want something in return. So never mind. From very ancient times we have seen, even in the caves, we see some names donated and by so and so, even the king's name or some other. So this is how you see some temples and you think they have their names engraved and picture put up and so on. This is for those people to encourage them, to give them that encouragement to do good things. But you will meet various kinds of people. I think amongst those of you who have helped to raise funds for the building or for some other buildings, some other projects, you will probably have encountered various kinds of people. Some, when they give name, they want, a big publicity. And some, if something happens, they get upset. And many people, when they want to do good, they have a lot of worries too. They worry. What if, this thing does not turn out? What if that does not turn out? So this is something that we should check, because the teachings of the Buddha, which I think many of you have heard again and again, which simply summarizes Sabba Papa Sakaranam Kusala Sopasampada Sachitta Pariyodapanam Etang Buddhana Sasana. What is that? Have you heard? What is that? No, you must retain, you must try to retain something. And this is something very important. Very simple, but very deep, very profound. Sabba Papa Sakarana. What is that? Do you still need the point system? We give 10 points for that. Sabba Papa Sakarana. What is that? You have gone for chanting, I think. Sabba. Sabba means all. Papasa. All the unwholesome, all the bad, wrong things. Akaranam, to avoid. Haven't you heard this? To avoid evil? Look at that when you go out. Do you see the notice board there? Big notice board? Can you read? What does notice board say? Do good, avoid evil, and purify. But actually, we should put to avoid evil first, nah? Avoid evil, do good, and purify the mind. Three things. Very important. Avoid evil. Do good. But still not enough. Doing good also not enough. Because we need to purify the mind. So, when we reflect from time to time, when we have some quiet moments to reflect, then we can see our activities. So for the last 3 months, now I think 3.5 months, I had this opportunity. Of course, I'm grateful to Chief Reverend. And I can say now that I don't sleep, I don't wake up without expressing my gratitude to Chief Reverend and all the other teachers, my parents, because this is the training that a meditation master, the teacher who guides us, Prajanyantra, some of you know, emphasizes the importance of metta or loving kindness. And so we start our practice, we begin our practice by giving metta or loving kindness. This time, 6 years ago when I first had that opportunity to stay 3 months in the forest, that was my first experience. And I did not know how to walk also in the forest. Because that place in Sunyatara, it's near Kanchanaburi, near the border of Burma, Thailand and Burma. And a very beautiful spot. Kanchanaburi is well known for its scenic views, have mountains and waterfalls and so on. But 6 years ago, when that place was newly founded, the place, the houses, the huts were all of bamboos, and the ground very muddy, no path, nothing. And you try walking on the muddy ground, slippery, clay. keep on falling a few times, especially when it rains. And if it rains about sometimes 5-6 times a day, and heavy downpour without any warning. Every day during the month of July until August, rains. And so the first experience was very difficult, fall a few times, and then learn how to walk on muddy ground barefooted. In the city we walk, but in the jungle different. Many things we have to learn, to go back to nature, to live with nature. And the noises that you hear, the first few nights, very frightening. But my first few experience in the jungle, very frightening, Dark. One thing you have to confront with darkness, no light. Another thing, the sound of, various creatures. And one sound I can clearly, still vividly in my mind is the sound of, it's like a duck sound. I look around my kuti, small hut. I can't see anything. I thought there must be some ducks around. But later I realized it's the frog's sound. The frog. So first we have to learn this thing by experience. And all kinds of creatures there. The creepy crawlies. The creepy crawlies, the snakes. Many of them. But during the rainy season, they don't come out so much. The hot season, it comes out. So you see, even in the forest, you cannot have everything the way that you want it. But you have to tune yourself to be with nature, to live with the nature and live that way. How did I overcome the fear? It's with metta, with loving kindness. When there's fear. And I think from the sutta, the daily devotions, when you read them, you recite some suttas, paritas. And then after you recite, your mind is calm and peaceful. And then you can send out your loving kindness in all the directions. Just tell in your mind that all beings, may they be well, may they be happy, we are friends with them. We are all friends. And some people are afraid of ghosts. But before going to the forest, I have heard of many ghost stories too. So in the dark, people are afraid of ghosts. So I asked the monk, what if some spirit come and disturb you? He said, don't worry. If the ghost come, you tell that ghost, you are a ghost. I too am a ghost. A bigger one. They will run away. You can try this next time. If something confront you, and you feel afraid, and you think there's a ghost, don't worry. You just tell that ghost. Now look here. I too am a ghost. He will run away. But we must know. Sometimes we must know. That's why we listen to teachers, because different people have different experiences they share. Last time I never know all these things. And metta is a very strong force, I found. Very powerful force. Loving kindness can protect you. And so now, why when I first went to Thailand I could not speak a word of Thai. And I do not know how to cut bamboo. Not supposed to cut, but I many of these novices, they cut and they make their hearts and so on. But I could not do single thing, because I come from the city. I do not know how to tie bamboos, one and another. And I do not know, ask them how to help me. Because I can't speak the language. So I sit down quietly and look at them, but with metta, with loving kindness. And when I see them, I smile, and they know that I don't speak the language. Within 1 week, a group of them come, and they saw I have no place for walking meditation. They come and build the walking path. I didn't ask, but they come to help. Yes. So your attitude is very important. And even though you cannot, because for meditation, we don't need to learn, we don't need to try to listen everything what the Master says. Only a few things we need. Only a few guidelines. So sometimes Prajna Yantra, 6 years ago, he could not speak English very much. Only a smattering of words. But he gives some Pali sentences. The moment I hear those words, I have idea what he's talking about. So now, start to contemplate on that and just practice on that. And in case you cannot understand, even though now some of you cannot understand what to do, what you can do is just be aware. Just be aware of your sitting, breathe in and breathe out, just be aware of your breath. That is Dhamma. And if any thought, if your mind go out somewhere, bring back your mind to the present. This is the training. The whole training of meditation, of Buddhist meditation, is eventually to free the mind from suffering, to free the mind from worries, to free the mind from all kinds of distractions and thoughts in the mind. The secret of real peace, to have real peace, real happiness, is to keep your mind in the present, Pachupan, not in the past, not in the future. But what happens when you try to remain silent and calm down your mind? Even if you don't talk, you will hear a lot of talking in your mind. Inside your mind, there is a radio, a built-in radio, talk to you. Some people think from outside, but it is from inside. You see, the beauty is this, how the Buddha defines speech, vacha. Speech is not only the words that you hear, the sound that it makes, but the speech actually starts from your mind. The moment you start to think your thoughts, you can think quietly. Some people grumble and complain and all sorts of things in their thoughts. That's where the speech starts. Vachikamma starts in the mind. And then when you think again and again, then it becomes strong. You have the courage to express it in words. Sometimes good words, sometimes not so good words too. And after you have expressed it again, register again in your memory. And when you are calm and quiet, it comes out again. And you all have this experience. Now, today, what you have done in the office, what you have done at home, and what you listen tonight. When you go back tonight, before you sleep, something that you have heard, something that has impressed in your memory will come out again in your mind. You have this experience? And if you cling to something that has happened during the day, maybe today some people have cheated you. You bought something, some flowers, and then you have cheated you by 15 or 20 cents. Or some people cannot sleep over that. Some people have abused you, maybe your colleague, or somebody has spoken some harsh words, and you get upset. You cannot sleep because those thoughts keep on coming to you. Why? We have been so good friends. I have helped that person so much. Why that person have to talk to me like that? Huh? Why that person cheat me? I always go and buy things. Huh? This thought come out to you. In the Dhammapada, the verse, Akochimang, Awadimang, Ajinimang, Ahasime. Those people who have and keep this thing in their mind. He abused me, he beat me, he cheated me, he disturbed me. If you keep this thing in your mind more again and again and cling to these thoughts, you cannot have peace. You cannot experience the real peace, the real happiness. Must know how to let go. For this, we need how to train our mind. We need to know how to train our mind. You can do everything, but eventually, the mind, you must know how to straighten it, to calm it down. That's where the calming of the mind is important. So, when we keep quiet, I experience this too. Since I cannot talk to others, I have to keep quiet. And when I keep quiet and practice, still a lot of thoughts come to my mind. I begin to see what I have done in the past. Something good, something not so good, not so skillful. And some people, when the mind, especially when the mind is calm and peaceful, people whom you have met in the past or have done something for you a long time ago and you never think about them, but these people can come up to your mind. The thoughts come up to your mind. And when your mind is calm and peaceful, just the metta, the loving kindness come up very naturally, very naturally. But in the beginning, you need to train the mind, and you need to verbalize a little bit, like, may my teachers be well and happy. May my mother, my parents, brothers, sisters, other members of the family, may they be well, be happy. We need to think like this until it becomes very natural to us. Again and again, again and again, you do that. Until your mind, it's very natural that just the metta flow and you just wish they all be well, be happy. Everybody in this world want to be happy. Right? Everybody want to be successful. And when we think in this manner, we should wish others too. Just as we wish to be happy, we wish to be successful, we wish them to be happy, be successful in their life. This is a practice that can help to purify your mind very quickly, and you can gain your concentration very quickly. Don't think that this kind of practice has to be done only in the forest, no. You can start. I started this practice living in the cities, in the busyness. From the very time I came to Buddhism, seriously dedicating my life, even before I was ordained, my lay teacher told me how to practice. He says, loving kindness is important. Think of your parents, think of your teachers, because all the goodness that you are able to enjoy now, you owe it to them who have brought you up, who have taught you, who have given you the opportunity. For us, our greatest, our gratitude, our highest gratitude must be to the Buddha. Without the Buddha, we cannot get food so easily. People come to temple, we don't have to work so hard. Without Buddha, without his Dhamma, what we tell people, what we teach to others, they are not ours. They are from the Buddha. So we think of the Buddha as our real master, real teacher. All the other teachers, we call them teacher, we call them masters, but they help to guide us. Because when we are young, when we are still, we need to be trained, we need guidance. But we cannot cling to them all the time too. The Buddha says, when the Buddha passed away, the Buddha says, Attadipo attasarano. Buddha says, you must make yourself a refuge. Make yourself. Be ye lights, be ye lamps unto yourself. He says, when I die, when I am no more, my teaching will be your master, your teacher. Eventually we must come to the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. You see? So the teachers are very useful. Teachers are very useful. In Buddhism we call them Kalyana Mitta. Do you know the meaning Kalyana Mitta? Have you heard? The word Kalyana, in English, we can only say good, like that, good or excellent. Mitta is friend. A good friend, a spiritual friend. A good friend here in terms of spiritual friend. A friend that can advise you, that can counsel you, can guide you for some higher values of life. They are Kalyana Mitta. And this Kalyana Mitta, usually, from life to life, they come back. And that's why it is no wonder. There is no wonder. There is no magic, no this thing, no coincidence. Sometimes you find between teacher and pupil, you find certain similar characteristics, similar features. Chinese they say yuan, you have the affinity for that. Like Chief Reverend was born, his birthday March the 14, really 14, but official one 18. And later I realized that, I was born very close to that date too. Only 2 days different. Prajanyantra was born October 14. His close disciple who attended to him for many years, the novice monk, also born two days before that. Very close like that. This one, Chief Reverend must have talked to you about astrology and horoscope and so on. Because what you do, your action, your thoughts, speech and action, they are what you call, you create karma, your karma. And this karma is the force that directs you when, where you will be born. Like that. Your karma, your own actions. And who are the people that come close to you due to some karma that you have done, due to something that you have done, whether for good or for evil. If you do something bad to others, you may forget that person may die. You forget totally. But sometime they may come back in other form too. Yeah. Some children come to visit you. Actually, you have no real opportunity to say, I want this child like that. No. They come to you. Sometimes you don't like their face also. Like the nose different from your nose, the ear different. Huh? But you can't help it. You see? And some children come very close to the parents and help them and so on. It is the karma. The family, father, mother coming together, and due to certain affinity, because you have attachment. We have attachment. Until we free our mind totally from this craving, we still have attachment. Attachment to teacher, attachment to parents, attachment to so on. And that's why when they are born, they come back again and again like that. Yes. And if they have somewhere in their life they have set themselves in a spiritual way, they come back again to help one another in the spiritual path. That's the Kalyana method. This is something that you all should try to build up. When you come to temples, you have opportunity to listen to Dhamma. You go back. Now, this is not like a cinema show or video that you just, sit and after that you just go back. But try to interact with one another. Because you all have come here. There's one force that brings you here. One force. What is that force? It is the force of goodness. It is the Dhammic force, the Dhamma. It is your love, your faith, your confidence in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha that brings you, that pulls you together. This is the cause. This is how we have to learn to grow together. And when there are some, you remind one another, you encourage one another to come like that. And later on, when you practice, when you listen to Dhamma and when certain Dhamma come to your mind at certain time, and you have some problem and you reflect on the teaching of the Buddha, when you have right reflection, right thoughts in your mind, your worries, your problem gone. Your mind become bright. No need to have very deep concentration. But even while listening, if you have faith, you have confidence in your mind, when you listen, you can concentrate. And then you take the Dhamma in your mind. And when this truth comes to your mind, when you contemplate this, it can help you to overcome many problems. Your mind becomes bright. And when you have this, you are freed from this problem, you like to inform others, you like to call others to come. That is why the Dhamma is called Ehipasiko. Ehipasiko, like to invite people to come and see. But the real nature of Dhamma you can experience for yourself. When you have the experience of peace, of calmness and peace, you will want others to come. And who do you think of? You will think of those who are near and dear to you first. Like that. And this is where, when you have metta, you think of those who are near to you. And your metta should reach out to all beings, not only a few people. You begin with that, but later on you reach out, not only to human beings, other beings too. Metta is a very strong force. And we must practice metta with wisdom too. We must have the wisdom to understand the true nature of life. What is this true nature of life? That everything in this world that is born must grow old, must be subject to sickness, and have to die one day. Even the ants that come to you will grow old, become sick and die. So they are our friends. Be prepared. If you go to the forest, be prepared for ants, mosquitoes. Oh, this thing, they come a lot. We are not lonely actually. We have a lot of friends. Sometimes you think we sleep alone. No, a lot of other beings come to us. I have experienced this thing. When it's about to rain, the ants will know first. They come, not by hundred. They have long line of turf, big long line, and they come. They can fill up sometimes, the whole roof, sometimes the whole, half of your kuti fill up with ants. And I have heard, it did not happen to me yet, I have heard one girl who was in the kuti, she went to sleep. When she get up, she found her whole face and body all covered with ants. But, you see, don't get at first. I have experienced when ants come to my body. And in the night, they come in. But as long as you don't move, it's okay, no problem. But sometimes when they come in and they enter the ropes, and some place they cannot go through, then they start biting. Oh, terrible. And bite. You can imagine, the ants bite you. And when they bite, but I get up, try to put them away. But there's so many of them. How to put all away? And if you just shoo them away, you're panicked. They also will panic. They run in every direction, enter everywhere, have trouble. You must keep calm, keep cool. And just to make some sign that to chase some of them away. And when they start moving in the direction, then all the others will follow. You just stay quietly, they will follow. And very quickly, you find they all leave, very quickly. But if you take a broom and immediately sweep everywhere, they disperse in all directions, and you have a hard time. You will have a hard time throughout the day to get rid of them. But if you know how to get rid of them, just shoo away a few. And a few frightened already, they run. And then all start to run in that direction. And within few minutes, you see they are gone like that. You cannot kill them because they, mosquitoes, I have found this too. The more you, they come after you some more. Why? Because it is natural. It is the law. When somebody is in fear, when you have fear about losing your life, if somebody come and attack you, or somebody come and disturb you in your home, surely, when you are afraid, when there is fear in you, surely you will contact your relatives and your friend to come and stay with you. So more come. That's how they know how to send out some frequency. And more come. The army will come to you. Come and buy. And when they buy, all sorts of thoughts come to your mind. Oh, malaria and this and that. But we have masters are very important, because before we get in, master tell us, give us confidence. Not only, sometimes the confidence, he says, you must confront. He says, you are not a real forest monk if you don't get malaria. But we see all the monks have malaria too. Those real forest monks, they get malaria, but they don't die. They don't die. They keep sick. I escaped only once, 3 years ago, when I was up in another place. I have real experience of malaria, but only a few days only. When they check the blood, they see nothing. I don't know what it was, but But why then if I tell you this thing, you may think, oh, next time I won't go to the forest. I won't follow. Remember, Mahinda, I have malaria there. But you think you live in the city, you are very safe? You are safe from malaria, but not free from dengue. You are not free from accident, big disease, motor car, pollution. This thing, you are not free from that. Anything can happen. Disease, like cold. If you sit under the fan too much, or if you go jogging and you go back and you have a quick bath, you get flu too. You can catch the virus very easily. No, after contemplating this disease, sickness, disease, anywhere, anytime can come to you. Right? So that is how I pluck up the courage. Never mind, go again. You see? Never mind. And I believe, to test, to confront, whether really the Dhamma is true, what the Buddha says is true. Buddha says, Dhammo have rakati dhammachari. Buddha says, if you practice Dhamma, Dhamma will protect you. I believe, not only believe, this is true, can verify. If you have Dhamma, Dhamma will protect you. Anytime when you are in difficulty, anytime when you are fear, think. First thing, what you can think of. If you can think of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, good. If you can think of your own good action. Or if you cannot think of some goodness that you have done, at least you should think of some good intention that you want to do, some good thing that you can do. The moment you start to think of this, is Dhamma, goodness. Your fear go away. You get the courage to confront. Dhamma protect in various ways. You see? Actually, the only way, the true way to free yourself from suffering is the way of refuge, going for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Many people, when they are in fear, when trouble comes, where do they go to? No. They don't go. They go to the forest. They run to the forest. People tell them, got big stone there, go and pray to the stone, pray to the tree. They will go there. When they are sick, doctors say, oh, cancer or this and that cannot be cured. And somebody say, oh, they have got this magic there, that this monk, this Swami, and this and that. They will run, they go to the master. No. Now, I think, whatever thing that comes, stay with the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. This thing is enough to protect you. Surely. If you have the right understanding, the right thought, don't be afraid. Even if we have to die, don't be afraid. Because if you know the Dhamma, death is only temporary phenomena. We all have to die. That is why don't be afraid to contemplate on that. For the 3 months, Tajanyantra, every session he tells us, keep our mind calm. Learn to calm down the mind. After the mind is calm, contemplate birth from the time you're born. Now, you start to grow old already. This body is subject to sickness, is subject to death. Keep on contemplating, keep on contemplating. If you practice metta, loving kindness, and you send out to your teacher, to your parents, when I think of my teacher, I think of my parents, I see. Now some of them start to grow old, have some sickness. Think of them like that, you see. And then I think, some teacher, very well-known masters, very popular, do all sorts of things in their life, but now they are no more. They pass away already. And especially those I have come close association, I know. For some of them, they are the way they do things. They were very ambitious, they want to get things done. And sometimes they hurt others' feeling too. But in the end, what happened to them? Finished, they die. I think of my relatives. Also, some of them, how they want property, how they want, and they quarrel and break up family and all that. In the end, what do they get? They don't take anything along with them. They die. They leave everything. Oh, when I contemplate like this, the sense of urgency to practice, must let go everything now. So keep your mind calm. But when we try to keep our mind in the present, still there are thoughts coming to our mind. The mind now thinking of going here, going there, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. Planning. So when you observe your body, keep your mind. The training just to watch your breath. When you observe your breath, you become more aware of your feelings. When you observe your feeling more, then you become more sensitive to your thoughts, mind. Observe the mind. Keep looking at your mind. Where the mind goes, bring back again. Sometimes, how to bring back? The Buddha has given us all the answers. In one sense, we are all very foolish people. Because the Buddha told us how to overcome suffering. He told us these are the 4 noble truths. Sometimes, how to bring back? The Buddha has given us all the answers. In one sense, we are all very foolish people. Because the Buddha told us how to overcome suffering. He told us these are the 4 noble truths. Dukkha, suffering, the cause of suffering, the end of suffering, and the path that leads to the end of suffering. Everything laid out already. But still we cannot end suffering so quickly. Why? We are all so foolish. We students in the university, We study for our examination. We can pass our examination. The lecturers give us a question, but they didn't give us the answer. But we can pass our examination. But why? Why is it the Buddha have given the answer already? But still we all fail. Because we come back again and again. If we really pass the exam, we finish. But still, you see, we have to be born again and again and suffer so many things again and again. Why? Very foolish. I realized one thing. Buddha has given us the answers. We must have the right question at the right time. You must ask yourself, if you have the right question, then you get there. You will see the Dhamma will unfold. When your mind has many thoughts come to you, just ask yourself, why? What is this? Why? Why these thoughts? Immediately come to your mind. I still have attachment, craving. The moment you see, and you will know when the Dhamma arises in you, the moment you can see that craving, it is my craving that has given rise to these thoughts, these worries in my mind, then that moment just your mind become brighter, clear, right? But the degree of the brightness depends on your calmness and your concentration. If your mind is sharp and concentrated, then when the Dhamma unfolds, very clear, very bright, and all the thoughts, the Dhamma thoughts, you can relate it. How? Because of craving lead to attachment. And attachment lead to becoming. We become this, we become that. It leads to birth. We are born again and again. Where there is birth, there is mind, there is body. Where there is a mind and body, there is eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. The six senses, the six faculties. As long as we have these six faculties, we make contact. Contact arises. Where there is contact, there is feeling. Where there is feeling, there is craving. There is craving. Why do people get angry? Anger arises, conditioned by craving. You want something, you cannot get it. You get angry. After you get angry, and you get the thing, now you are happy. You want some more. You cannot get it. You get angry again. This is where the mind which is not trained, the mind which is not properly trained, always, throughout the day, you will find the mind one moment happy, another moment angry. Not happy, like that. But the Dhamma, remember, the teaching of the Buddha is the middle path. The middle path is not the physical middle path, the mental. Try to keep your mind in the middle. No anger, no real happiness like that. To cling to that kind of happiness, keep equanimity. That's why sometimes you see some monks who have good equanimity, you know. Oh, when time of difficulty, you can see them, you know. The mind, unshaken, they are calm, peaceful. So, remember, we have to question ourselves. How I became a monk. I remember how I became a monk. How it set me to the Dhamma's way. because the first question that arose in my mind before I became a monk, I have met a lay teacher. And when I was studying in the university, I have seen my masters or lecturers. They have so much knowledge, they have so much of a thing in them. I respect, I like hero worship them. They come to class and they, so many things they know. I read but cannot enter, cannot present. How they know so many things? But one day, when I was doing field work and come close to them, and in the night they go to the pub and drink. After they drink, then they cannot hide the truth. Then they talk the truth. They tell the truth. Usually, I have come across some people like that. So they tell the truth of what? Of their life. So and they tell me, this professor tell me, oh, the wife is like that, and that's why he's separated, and now, but he says, that girl who is better, and that's why we are so close like that. And it's a student, So I see, oh, he's separated, and now he has this one here. And after that, I begin to go, when I went back, again I begin to see one other lecturer, woman lecturer, very clever, but again separated, husband no more. Then I start to question myself. Why do I want to come to study? Why do I want to get degrees and for what purpose? What is the purpose of this life? What is the purpose of this life? This thing comes to my mind. I think I want to do good, but I think all this knowledge. But if I can get all the degree, but if I cannot live in peace, in happiness, then what good is this? This is where, at this point, I begin to think. One day, I was working in the with the electron microscope, and I spent hours and days working under it, just to study, one little bit of like a grass that I picked up from the pond, to study that. You can spend the rest of your life, just pick one piece of hair, and you can spend the rest of your life studying that hair. That is the nature of knowledge, of worldly knowledge. So, when I look at this microscope and this little algae, and I start to draw, and suddenly I thought, is this all there is to life? What does this lead to me? Knowledge. What is important for me to know? That's where I think. Because I have heard my teacher talk about mind, about the importance of mind, to know the mind, how we should control the mind, how the Buddha knew the nature of the world. Without microscope, without telescope, the Buddha was able to see and tell us the nature of the universe. The Buddha was able to tell us what is the nature of the body, without having to cut up the body. Just when this thought comes to my mind, I say, enough, I must try to study the science of the mind. I just stand up and walk and told the professor there, his name, Professor Philipson. I look at him, very old man, he was about nearly 70 plus, white hair. I tell him, Professor, enough, I quit. He looked at me. He looked at me surprised. I'm going. I just walk. And when I walk, I feel very happy, very light. Very light. And then I meet another lecturer come. And he's the head of that certain department. I says, "Sir, I quit, sir." "Oh," he says, "it's okay. You just give your registration number to registrar, So feel very light, very happy when I left. I remember how this thing. Question your mind. Question yourself why you suffer. See the cause of it. When you see the cause, you will see the end of suffering. Surely. You see the path, you will see the way to end suffering. The Four Noble Truths. This is how we should apply the Four Noble Truths in our day-to-day life. Keep calm. Make your mind calm more and more, so that more goodness can arise in your mind. When good thoughts arise in your mind is strong. Your mind is strong. You become stronger in your mind. When I come back, some people say, "Oh, even my teacher says to me, why? You have become skinny. You skinny, And why? Because we don't have anything to eat. But some people say, "Oh, you go to jungle, nothing to eat." No, on the contrary, we have a lot to eat. This year I spent with 112 monks and novices in the forest. 112 monks and novices, 98 monks, and the rest novices. And then lay people, 150 lay people stay in the community. And the people that come, every week have people, some stay a few days, some stay few. But for 3 months, more than 150 people stay, lay people. So plus the monk have about 300 altogether. Every day. So the food, plenty. All kinds of food. Thai food, very spicy, very... I take, first week I take, first nearly 1-2 weeks I eat well. After that, I think why so comfortable, because Prajna Yantra keep on telling. He never tell us you should not do this, you should not do that. He keep on telling. Great masters, enlightened masters. You cannot find any masters who have enlightened themselves in the comforts of their own apartment or home or, no. All the great masters, all the great teachers have gone through very difficult crisis. The Buddha struggled 6 years in the forest. No dunlop pillow, no, Jesus too, Muhammad too, all has stayed with nature. You see? Because it's only where there is suffering, then you can see suffering, you can see the cause, you can see the way how to end it. So, I had very comfortable because Prajna this time, he allowed me. I have, of course, my kuti is above, a few hundred feet above the ground. I have to climb up ladder, and it's near the cliff, and you have to walk very mindfully. If you not mindful, you go down, very sharp stone down. But because we see every time, look, straight away, must walk very mindfully. The first 3 days, I have difficulty with my leg. Muscle very. But after that, okay, climb up there. Nobody to disturb you. And have walking path, have attached toilet too. toilet special one, and yes, have flush system, just go down too, because, but have proper, have everything, because that building was built by one of the senior disciples of Prajna, and he has gone to America, so Prajna allow me to use and tell all the other monks. He says, you all have, I am free from duty, I can do what I like. If I want to go chanting, I go. If I don't want to go, I can do in my room. I have this liberty. So I keep on. But when a master gives you that liberty, that is a burden in itself. That means you have some responsibility. Don't think you have no responsibility. Your responsibility is to keep on to the practice. Otherwise, otherwise you are not worthy of that. So I have to watch. All the time, watch the mind. Until when the mind feels calm. And I remember the teaching of some other masters, like Guangqing Lahasang, some Chinese great master, when he meditated in the forest, when he fasted. And his teaching is that you must not fast just for fasting's sake. But it's when your mind is calm and you have concentration and you have piety, you have joy, then you can start fasting, because that time your body don't need so much food. And even if you see the food, you don't have very strong craving for that food. And Prajna always say, eat less, talk less, sleep less. So I try to practice only this thing. Talk, finish, no more Dhamma talk for nearly 3 months. But I was invited to speak about 3-4 times only. Then eat, have a lot of things. I start to reduce. But have fear, have the craving for food. Very difficult to give up food, I don't know, but you try, and then you see. And I tell my mind tomorrow, I will not take. And then, but when I go out for Pindapa and I see so many food, never mind, take a little bit. But a little bit of this and that, about 10, 12, these things, full, Then again, fail already. Again contemplate tomorrow, I will not this thing. Until the mind becomes strong, until you determine this time, I will not go down. I will not go and see the food. Then Prajna said, okay, if you don't go down, somebody will bring you some little porridge, some soup, like that. So I live on food, on porridge. First, for 1 month, I try. 3 days of the week, I don't take rice. I just take some juice and they put some soup like that, drink that. And after that, I feel very light. I don't have to sleep very much. Don't feel drowsy. Can sit longer. Can walk. The mind clearer, not so drowsy, not so sleepy. So I think, yes, go on. And the body can take it, feel very happy, healthy. Then I say, okay, now I go on fruit. I take fruit. And I determine 2 weeks, nothing, only fruit. And after the fruits I take very good, no constipation. Why? I remember I have come across some people who eat fruits only. They are called fruitarians. And they are healthy. See? Then after that, I determine now I must give up the fruit and just have water. And if emergency, I will take some honey. I have honey. And I determined that one day, without food, without anything, because the Master gave inspiration, because he spent many days, without food, without this thing, but he's, okay. When he come up, his face, his mind clear and anything, but lighter, and can sit longer. Have one woman, very fat woman, Prajna Bhante advised her to, Prajna said, if you can sit comfortably, okay, but if not comfortable, then you can reduce some food. Now she become very light. No need to spend many dollars to go for health, to trim and so on. In Australia, usually in winter, people get fat, and in summer, they have to spend, as much as 300 Australian dollars just to lose, a few stones, a few pounds, We have a natural way, But remember, you really get on into the fasting. Do it slowly, until your body accepts, and then you're okay. No problem. This time I feel no problem. But last time, when I did not know so much, I see people fast, I fast. I see people I do that. And I lose and have problem, win problem, gas. Only 1 day, only 2 days I suffered from wind, because the food that I took was not agreeable, and wind, and this time full, and I can feel like the wind come up to the head and everywhere pain, and I see the points where the point become pain. I think the wind comes straight up, and in that group we have one monk who is a doctor. He is qualified doctor, but he gave up to become monk. He gave up to become full-time monk. And so he came to see me. He listened to my stomach. He said, I cannot hear any sound. That means it is really full. The wind full already, And I asked him, is it true that the wind get into my head? No, he said. He said the wind go up to your chest here. And after that, the nerve start to get affected. And the nerve triggers off, so that the nerve points in different parts, you feel some pain there. And when you hit that nerve point, the wind come out. The wind come out little by little. But because when I told him, he said, oh, don't worry. He says, more than 20 monks have this problem. I said, why? Because they take that soup, have something, contamination. So then he gave me carbon tablet to swallow, to absorb the wind. After that, no problem. But I have experience. When I had this experience, very painful, very uncomfortable, the wind, So what did I do? I think of the Buddha. I think how the Buddha struggled. I remember the Buddha say when he struggled for enlightenment, when he almost fainted, he wanted to pick up water in the stream, he fainted. And when he wanted to touch his stomach, he could touch his backbone. Wow. But the Buddha said that his body was left with skin and bones, you see. And the wind that came up to his body, he could feel as if the drum beating, piercing through his, ear. So when I think of that, what the Buddha gone through, I think this is nothing. Give me the courage to sit little while, but not so strong. Have to lie down again, come up again like that. It's a fight, it's a struggle, but I say, in the end, the mind have calmness. Just observe. This is where the body is like that. It's so delicate
the body. And at some time when the body is hungry, the stomach is hungry, I remember some master talked to the body. Nobody to talk to, so I talked to my body. Says, the body, stomach, please be patient, be patient. I have fed you for so many years already now, more than 40 years I've been feeding you. Now, just these few days, be patient, tolerate a little bit. Tomorrow I give you some soup, and be gentle. I realize this. If you are gentle, if you speak gently to your body will listen to you. When your body is painful, please apologize. Because you have, truly, when the body painful, I told you, sorry, I did not know, I took too much juice. I took too much orange juice. It was I think it's good, but my craving, my greedy, sorry, I make you suffer, but please forgive me and normalize your function. And after a little while, very funny, after a little while, not so long, after a little while, it begins to normalize the function. And I tell my mind, I call my mind Chitto. The mind is Chitta, Chitta. But in Pali, Chitta, Chitto, Chitto, Chitta. If you want to call the mind, like personify it. That's why I realize how in the Dhamma, Buddha always we personify certain things. Because it's useful. Tell the mind, Chitto, please control the body. Please cooperate. Stay with the body. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Look after this body. Chitto, stay. Don't go out. And you stay in the body. But when you go out, tell Chitto, where have you been? Why you go out here and there? And then think, oh, because you have attachment, want to go here, go there. Until I realized that, before I meditate, I say to myself, I am nobody. I want nothing. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to go nowhere. Just stay in the present. I want to see nothing. Realize nothing. I just want to be here. See here. That's how. Then your mind stay in the present. When your mind stay in the present, you experience very calm, very peaceful, like that. So remember the teaching of the Buddha, Remember the teaching of the Buddha. Why do we go to the forest sometimes? Because the forest, many people say it's a dangerous place. It's true, there are many risks. But it is with those risks that arouse our mindfulness. We become more careful. If not, we become a bit careless. We have the bed, we sleep, we know we are going to get up tomorrow. We know there are no snakes, no tiger coming. But if you sleep in a place that you know snake can come anytime, scorpion, centipede can come anytime, sickness can come to you anytime, then you realize, better practice now, before anything happens like that. The urgency of practice comes to your mind. This is the advantage for that. Not only that, we have good air, very good air, better than Kuala Lumpur, I assure you. It's when I arrive here, I start to have sore throat, little throat here. That's no problem. Have rain, but I don't get sick. No cough, no flu. Sometimes wet. Wow, no problem. Go for how many kilometers? Bindabat. I don't Bindabat every day, only certain time. After 2 months, after this thing, I just like to go and, And I see poor people, they don't have sufficient food to eat, but they offer rice, they offer banana. Oh, really touches my heart. I see how people here in Kuala Lumpur, in Singapore, I like to bring them to show you. I like to bring you all to show you how poor people give. and you can realize how much you have and how much you are able to give. No. This is something we learn. Yeah. And overall, this experience, good air, good water, drink rainwater. Why? You have mineral water and so on, but rainwater from the forest is pure, no problem. Nature, close to nature. So, when you have opportunity, you can go closer to nature. But must train yourself first, at home. We give up. When we say give up, the teacher says, give up. Give up yourself. Sacrifice your selfishness, but don't give up your duty, your responsibility. Still have your duty. Keep your duty, responsibility. I still think of all the devotees, how I am supported. I don't write to all of you. I don't write to all the members, but the thought comes. I am grateful to all of you. And because of that, some thought arises, come up, what I should do, like that. What is my duty, responsibility? This thing come up. So I think it's very important. Goodness come up to your mind. More goodness come up when your mind is calm, peaceful. Try to maintain calmness in your mind more and more. When you have calmness, then you have more peace. You can think better, you can reflect, you can contemplate better. And contemplate always. We are growing old. We become sick. We will die one day. But remember that the body is of the nature to grow old, become weak. It must become weak. One or more parts of the body will have misfunction. Remember, the mind is something. The mind need not become weak with age. You must try to make the mind stronger. When you can still walk, you can still run, and you can still sit, do that. Train your mind. So that your mind is strong. When the body becomes weak, your mind is strong. Your mind can endure it. Patience, tolerance, understanding, very important. Not only, when you go to forest, you must be patient. You must endure mosquito bite. You must endure sitting down, pain in the leg. Endure. And then, with that, you must understand why you do it too. With understanding, more and more grow in your mind, like that. Then you can check yourself. So, continue. You all have very good opportunity. And I think by listening to Dhamma, like some of you, those of you who have come here, you don't worry. This is something that has become part of your nature. Whether there is good master or not, you still come to listen to Dhamma. This is something very good. And Chief Reverend want to test you. That's why when he go out, he don't inform you. But some of you still come. But if you cling to master, you think, oh, I only want to listen to Chief Reverend. Oh, I only want to listen. Reverend Mahinda come, I come, listen to him. No. Don't cling to master. Dhamma is Dhamma, understand? All teacher, even though some teacher cannot talk, even though some teacher cannot speak very well, but he may give his Dhamma in a different way. There are different ways of giving Dhamma. Some master just sit quietly, and every place, everybody becomes calm and peaceful. That is Dhamma too. That is Dhamma too. But you all have good opportunity. No? Make use of this opportunity and determine in your mind. When your mind is calm and peaceful, when you are happy, determine in your mind that that you'll be able to further cultivate, that you'll be able to further cultivate, strengthen, and purify your mind, and that your mind can be calm and you can confront whatever difficulties, whatever problems that arise in your life. Like this, you can contemplate and then share the merits. Whatever goodness that you do, you can share the merits. Share the merits with all devas, all celestial beings. You can think all the devas, all the bodhisattvas, all who have helped, who have protected you, and share these merits that they may rejoice in these merits. They too be well, be happy. And also you can transfer, you can dedicate all the good action that you have done today and in the past. And think that these good actions, dedicate this to the well-being and happiness of all your departed relatives and friends, wherever they may be. If they are in a position to rejoice in this goodness, may they rejoice in this goodness, may they be well and happy. May they have opportunity to grow in the Dhamma and be free from all sufferings. If they are not in a position to rejoice, may this wholesomeness pave the way. May they have good birth. May they be reborn in better planes of existence, where they can receive the Dhamma and grow in the Dhamma and be free from all suffering. And through all these meritorious actions, may we determine in our minds that we will be able to further develop, strengthen, and purify our minds, so that we can confront and overcome whatever difficulties, whatever problem that arise in our life. May all the goodness pave the way for us to grow in wisdom and compassion, so that we can make good use of our life, not only for our own happiness, but also for the welfare, for the happiness of the many. And may all goodness pave the way for us to be free from all sufferings. May you all be well and happy. And we will invite Chief Reverend to lead with the chanting, with the recital of dedication, transfer of merits, and or sharing of merits. Those of you who have learned, you can recite. As you recite, you also think, be sincere in your mind. This is how you tune to the right frequency, and you can radiate to all beings. Please stand up. Sharing of merits. Daily Buddhist devotion, I think page number 112. Is it right? 112 or 211? 211, the other way around. 211, sharing of merit, punya-anumodana. Follow me. Imina punya kammena upadhyaya gunuttara acari upakaraca mata pita piyamamang Suryo Candi Maharaja Gunavanta Narapica Brahma Maharaja Indaca Yamo mitta manusaca Madhyatta virikapita Sabbe satta sukhi hontu Punyani pakatani me Sukhan jati vidang dentu Kipang papeta omatang Imina punya kamena Imina uddisena ca Kippahang sulabe ceva Tanho padana cedanang Ye santani hina dhamma Yava nibbanato mamam Yaccanti sabbadaeva Yatta jato paribhave Ujjucitto sattipanyo Salleko viriyavamina Mara labhantu no kasang Patunca viriyesu me Buddhadi pavaronato Dhammo nato naruttamo Nato pacceka sambuddho Sangho nato uttaro mamang Tesottamanubhavena Marokasang labhantu ma